expensive. It is only $43.99 US. So thank you, FIFINE, by sending me this mic. And today okay, let's go to the point of the video, right? Today I want to talk about a movie named called Gone Girl. If you haven't seen it, I'm so jealous because I've seen it maybe 5 times. I don't know, so many times. It is so good. It's like a psychological thriller, and it has an insane plot twist in the middle. So it's like, I'm telling you, if you haven't watched it, but I'm going to retell the story today, just so you know, maybe if you watched it a long time ago, you can listen to the story and like remember. By the way, it is directed by David Fincher, the one that made the Fight Club, so, and Seven, so you know it's good. So anyways, the plot. So there is a couple, the husband's name is Nick and the wife is Amy, right? And they are married. They live in a house. What could possibly go wrong, right? It is their 5th anniversary. Okay, so Nick is a teacher, right? And how they met. They met a long time ago, and she was a cool girl. If you're on TikTok or Instagram Reels, I'm pretty sure you've seen an audio of Amy saying, "Oh, I was a cool girl. I was this and that. I was always ready to have sex with him and all of that." Right? She was cool, right? And but eventually, she wanted to save the marriage, and but he got very distant. They got together. They got very distant, and their marriage deteriorated. It was not good. They had financial problems as well because of recession. They lost their jobs. They both, and they were living in New York, but they had to move to I don't remember where, but Nick is from there. Also, his mom was in a very bad condition. She was about to pass away, so they went there to help her. Right? So he was very distant from Emmy, and actually he's a piece of shit because he started an affair with one of his students, and her name was Andy. Emily Ratajkowski plays Andy. So Emmy noticed it, and she was very resentful. She was pissed because you know what? In the beginning of the couple's relationship, right? Nick brought Emmy to a place like a bakery, right? But the back door of a bakery, and they were stifling. What is the word? Whatever. It was all, the air was covered in powdered sugar, right? And they were just like licking their lips, kissing, and everything like that. And she wanted to, in a few years, she wanted to surprise him somehow. And she goes there, and he's there with his lover, mistress, Andy, his student, and it is shown in the movie that she's kind of dumb, she's like, she doesn't know anything. So, what happens? It's their 5th anniversary, and they usually gift each other something for like he goes to the bar where his sister works, and he just talks about, oh, this is bad, I don't like it, I want to get divorced, and blah blah blah. And Emmy, she was actually very successful when she was growing up. Their parents started a career for her with books called Amazing Emmy, right? So that's why she was like popular. So anyways, he comes home and she is not there. She's not there. She's usually there and she's not. You know, what the hell? Of course, public wants to know, like, what has happened to Emmy? Where is she? So, there is a detective. Her name is Rhonda Pony. Let's call her the detective. All this, like, forensic specialists, they find evidence of a struggle and like a pool of blood that was cleaned right in the house, in a kitchen. The pool of blood was in the kitchen. Detective like learns about the couple's financial problems, all of their fights, you know. And also Emmy wanted to buy a gun one time, and she sees the medical reports, and she sees that Emmy actually was pregnant, but Nick didn't know that. So on each anniversary, Emmy sets up this like treasure hunt, you know, with different clues. So this year, clues, they are in a very different places, but every places it's where he's been with Andy, having sex, right? So it reveals that Emmy knows about the affair. Nick finds out, he just finds like more financial problems, and he discovers a lot of items purchased with his credit cards. I'm talking thousands of dollars, and they are hidden in his sister's name is Margot, in her, like, not a garage, something like that. And all these clues, you know, she leaves clues everywhere, and it's very, you know, not toxic, it's very, you know, like, I know what you did. So he finds all of that. And like the detective thinks, okay, what is going on? And then they find her diary, right? It was half burned. It was very hard to find. It was half burned. Someone tried to burn it, but it didn't, you know, fully burn. So they find her diary and they start reading, and they think that Nick took her life. It's like the first thing that they think. What else? You know, he's doing everything that he's not supposed to do. One time they were like, her parents and him, they were at a like press conference, or you know, they were talking, and he took a photo and he was smiling like this, you know, and people were like, oh my god, why is he smiling? So the whole like country started hating him, because in this like in this discovery they found out that she had a best friend from the neighborhood. She was also pregnant, right? They were talking a lot, and she's like, where's Sammy? And he's like, who are you? I'm her best friend. And it turns out he discovers that they had a lot of photos together. She writes about her in her diary, you know. They also find out that he hit her one time, and one time she actually writes, "I'm afraid he's going to me." So, and here is the plot twist. Boom, cut, and we see Emmy, who is riding a car, and that's where she tells us all of the story. So she goes somewhere, I don't know where, like very far, to live in a motel, I think. Right, so what happened? She discovers Nick's affair. And she made a plan to frame him for her passing away, you know. She, oh, and also what they found out is that her life insurance was leveled up, was increased to like 1 million, maybe, I don't remember, and it was Nick signed it, right? So what happened? Actually, Emmy is alive, and this is her plan to frame Nick, her unfaithful husband. So she actually made him sign these papers. He was just busy watching, like, I don't know, TV, and she just goes there and she's like, yeah, can you sign this? He's like, yeah, sure. So she secretly used the credit card to buy all those items. I'm talking MacBooks, like ski equipment, a huge TV, what else? PlayStation, like a lot of things, right? When she invited, why did she befriend this woman? She didn't like her, right? Because she was just a dumb woman, a dumb housewife, so she didn't like her, but she befriended her. So one time, actually, this neighbor lady, she comes to the house and she drinks a lot of lemonade, right? This is a plan. And she goes to pee, and actually she like Emmy drained the toilet so it doesn't, like, you cannot flush. And she's like, that's okay. So Emmy actually takes her pee and she goes to the doctor so she can be medically officially pregnant, right? But she's not. So she wanted that she wanted media to know that, so she gets more empathy, you know. She wrote a lot in her diary which was not true. Like, she would exaggerate a lot of things, like, he hit me, and he was like, it never happened to the detective, it never happened. And she's like, yeah, it did happen. Like, she wrote it like nobody's going to read it, right? And she was the one that put it in fire somewhere and tried to burn it, but she burned it like half. And also she you know, she broke a lot of things, like in a house, for example, something fell. She did all of this to imitate, you know, fight, and also she drained her blood and put it in a kitchen, right? Like and cleaned it. Like, if Nick was so dumb so to clean it, that's why they found the traces of blood. So her plan was to commit. She wanted to drown, maybe. So after the Nick's arrest, right? And when her body would be found, he would get the death penalty, right? Nick gets it, you know. He's like, I know my wife, she did this, she wants to frame me. All this scheme, he just realizes it was her, like, you know, attempt of framing him. So he says, Margot, I'm not, like, I'm no, like, I said no, it's Russian. He tells his sister, like, hey, I didn't do that, and when his sister finds out that he has an affair, she's like, what the hell? Why didn't you tell me? And all of that. So, but she believes in his innocence. So they hire a very, very good lawyer, and he is always like, this lawyer is known for representing husbands that were suspected of, you know what. So he meets Emmy's ex-boyfriends, and one of them, I believe his name was Tony. So Tony claims that she framed him for sexually assaulting her, and she ruined his life. She like ruined his life, so he cannot like go to work and everything. Like he can get hired, all of that. And there is another guy, which his name is Desi Collins. Sorry, I have like some things written here. Emmy filed a restraining order against him because she claimed that he was stalking her, and he says, Nick, bye bye, like go. He says whatever. He doesn't believe Nick. So Desi is like, he's very, very wealthy. So Emmy, she dyes her hair, she gets a room in it's not a motel, but she gets a room, and she has a lot of neighbors there. And by the way, she hits herself with a hammer in the eye, so she has a bruise. So there is a girl, and they start talking and all of that. By the way, she says that her name is, I remember, Nancy. I think Nancy, and this girl, she apparently has a boyfriend. And one time, Amy actually drops the cash because she has this cash to survive, and they see it, and after they rob her, they don't do anything to her, they just rob her. That's it. They take all her money, so she is desperate. She has no money. She has no. Oh, by the way, and she bought a car from some dealer, just to get away. So she has this car, some of her belongings, and no money. That's it. So she decides to change the plan. She calls Desi, this wealthy man that he was stalking her, right? And she says, "Hey, Desi, I'm so poor and all of that. I'm poor. I'm a poor thing. Nick, I had to, I had to flee because Nick was abusing me." Desi agrees to take her to his lake house and hide her, so she can live with him and they can live happily together, because she says, "Oh, Desi, I love you. I've never stopped loving you," and all of that. And he earns for her. He loves this woman. He's obsessed with this woman. He was stalking her, basically. So he gets her to his house, right? The lawyer convinces Nick to admit to his affair on a popular talk show. By the way, Andy found this out, and she goes to the other press conference, and she says, "Yes, I was in an affair with Nick. I didn't know he had a wife. I didn't know. I'm so sorry. I didn't want to harm anyone like Andy, So she did what she had to do, right? And everybody, "Oh, you're this and that." So the lawyer says you have to admit to an affair. He goes to a very popular talk show to, make a good impression of himself. But actually, this woman who is the host of talk show, she used to say a lot of crap about Nick and Margot. She especially, one time she said that maybe they are this brother and sister. They are too close. Maybe they are in a romantic relationship. Something like that. So he show, and he, also just say, I'm a normal guy, and unfortunately, Nikki goes onto the press conference just before Nick's, interview, but Nick still wants to do it. He says, I'm innocent, he's like, I'm sorry, I had an affair. I know Emmy's watching, and she is watching. She is in that wealthy guy's house. She's watching the TV in this like luxury house. So the interview helps Nick. He gets some sympathy. He gets some people start to get him, right? But the lawyer, he has a lot of evidence, right? So he, not lawyer, the detective, she has a lot of evidence against Nick, so she arrests him and his sister. The lawyer bails them out, and they have a trial. Trial is going to be like soon. So Emmy watches Nick's interview, and she, I don't know why, but she decides to go back. She wants to go back to him. I don't know why. Maybe she realized that she loves him. I don't know. She wants to go back to him, but she has to do it somehow. So she has an idea of an escape story. So there are a lot of surveillance cameras in this house, right? And she knows how to turn them on, see everything. So she says to this guy, she what does she do? It was the morning, right? And she said, she kissed him very, very, roughly, and she bit his lip. This poor guy's lip. He's bleeding a little bit, and she messes his hair, his shirt, and she's like, that's what, real men look like, whatever. And he goes out, and the camera sees him, all this, like this. So then she takes a bottle of champagne and puts it down her upper Gucci. So she's sexually assaulted. And then she bleeds, and she goes to the corner where the surveillance camera sees her, so she can see he just went out, he did something to her, and she's like, please help me, blah blah blah. So and then after he comes home, she's like, I've been waiting for you. So she decides to seduce Desi, and while they have sex, she gets a knife and she goes, shh. That's it. And then she comes home. I believe she calls the police or something. They get her home. She's home. So, medical examination, everything, okay, that was true. She was actually assaulted. She was, because of the champagne bottle. That's what she did. And they were questioning her, and the detective was very skeptical. She's like, is she really, there were a lot of inconsistencies in Emmy's, story, but she accuses the detective that she likes Nick more than her, so that's why she's incompetent. Whatever. Okay, the next and she tells him, you know, I want to be with you. I saw you bleed like on the national TV. So you know, I forgive you for having an affair, and you know, you wanted me to return. He said it on TV. So I am here. I love you and all of that. He tells this to the detective, his sister, and his lawyer. They agree that Emmy is guilty, right? But they have like there is a lack of evidence. Lawyer goes back to New York, right? So the last part, there is an interview. It takes place like 7 weeks after. There was an interview of the same woman, in their home. They are together, right? She, Emmy, thinks, okay, maybe he's going to confess and leave me, so and expose the story. So Emmy says, I'm pregnant. Yes, we are pregnant. Just before the interview, she says to this woman, I'm pregnant, we're expecting, and all of that. But actually, what did she do? She took Nick's sperm and she put it in herself. I don't know, she froze it or something. I don't know. She put it in herself and she made herself pregnant with his baby. Whatever. Nick is like, what the hell? But he's like, okay, I need to raise this child. I have to be responsible. And he stays with Emmy. But like Margot says, like, please, like, she's a psychopath. So they are on television and they say, we are expecting a child. Everything's okay. That's it. That's the whole story. So actually it is very like unique, because when I was first watching, I was like, oh Nick, you're this and that. But then I was like, there was a twist, like she's actually alive and she's doing very good. So I'm like, okay girl, you know, you do you. So actually, what do you think about this movie? Have you watched it, or maybe I just reminded you of the plot, or you know, you should watch it. It's very interesting. I've left out a few details because I'm pretty sure I just forgot them, right? And also I have Wikipedia here, so I just like don't forget the details, and some details I add, whatever, you know. So tell me guys in the comments, maybe you want me to like retell another plot of something